Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Midtown Farm USA. This is episode number 16, and we are sort of on the eve of actually starting our harvest. This is the day before we believe that our harvest will be available to harvest, or our crops, at least our wheat crops, in field number 16. And let's just bring up our map here. Field number 16, field number 17, which are both wheat, and field number, let's put this over this so it's a little easier to see. Field number 16 is wheat, field number 17 is also wheat, and then field number 15 is barley. And the crops are looking good. Everything is on track, and we believe that tomorrow is going to be our harvest day. The weather forecast is looking good and cooperative for us, at least for 2 days. We should not have any rain today or this evening, so we shouldn't have any wet crop situations to start the thing off tomorrow morning. And I think that we're probably going to get a pretty early start on our harvests and everything. But what we want to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is we just need to kind of do some odds and ends to get ready for the harvest. One of the things that I kind of thought that we would do for this episode really is just maybe some of you might think that these are mundane tasks, but these are things that need to get done, and these are probably things that you're doing on your virtual farms as well. We need to get things cleaned up. Our horse seeder, or our horse sprayer for right now is basically done. We won't need it until we get the soybeans in the ground, and so we might as well go ahead and get it washed up and go ahead and fill it up with liquid fertilizer and go ahead and park it. So that's kind of what this episode is going to be about. We're going to get things ready for our harvest tomorrow. We are also going to get the animals maintained all the way up to 100%. Right now our animals are slightly suffering. Well, they're not really suffering. They're fat and happy, and they're alive and everything, but we do need to get some silage and some power food for them, so we get them back up to 100%, because as I always say, if we're going to have these animals on our farms, we might as well take the effort that is required to go ahead and get them productive and keep them productive as best as possible. Now, when we were together the last episode, we basically had mowed our field up there, our planted field. Let's see, pull it up. Field number 12. We had planted that field in grass, so we mowed that yesterday and got the bales off of it. Basically tethered it and belled it and everything. Got those bales off of there. And let's see. Let's just park this guy. Let's just park this guy here, kind of out of the way. Well, it's going to be a little bit in the way. Because we're going to need to get to the baler most likely tomorrow. So what we'll do is we'll move it up here. All right, that should be fine. That's close enough. Turn her off, get out. So that's done. So basically tomorrow we're going to be obviously starting our harvest, and so so we need to do our animals and everything today. So anyway, we got the grass cut, got it tethered, basically got everything going that we need to do, and we need to just basically go through the rest of the motions to get our animals and everything topped up. And so that is going to start now. So we need to basically give them some silage. So let's just disconnect from our water tank right now and get over here, and we'll just fill this mixing wagon up with silage. That should probably work for them. My steering wheel is really loose for some reason or another. I need to take a peek at the calibration again, I think, and get that all connected and tested, set up. So the harvest is going to begin tomorrow, and we're going to basically, it's going to be all hands on deck, I don't really have any named characters on this map, but I do have a regular hired hand that works with us, and right now he is up fertilizing field number 12. That is the grass field up there. So if we bring up the map here, just will quickly show you that, and we're bringing that up. I'm going to keep that up. We've got everything, you know, all of our grass fields down in the southwest portion of the map, they're topped up. Everything that we're planted, sunflowers, wheat, not soybeans yet. This field here is an encased field, and looks like we're not going to need it because we're at least going to be able to get a few fields of we're at least going to be able to get at least one field done with soybeans. I mean, I wouldn't think that we should have any problem at all in getting field number 16 completely flipped around. If we can't do that in 2 days, then we basically need to essentially retire from farming and do something different. So that's not going to be a problem. We are going to do 16 first, then 17, and then 15. So basically get both of our wheat fields in before we even entertain the idea of touching the barley. And then I have a feeling that let's go ahead and put 12,000 liters in here. I have a feeling that's close enough. I have a feeling that our canola crops will also most likely come available and be available for harvest very soon, if not maybe even tomorrow as well. But we're not gonna worry ourselves. We're not gonna stress over anything until we basically get the soybeans in the ground. That's when we will touch other crops, even if they are available. That's when we will touch them, because again, the plan is we need to attack this from a perspective of getting the wheat switched around, and at least getting one field of soybeans growing, if not two, and then again 3 if it's all doable. The coffee this morning is hot, and it is helping get me all motivated and woken up and everything for the tasks that I have in front of me today. Today in the real world is Sunday the 21st of January, and let me just take a look at that and see how that's done. Let's go ahead and put 16,000 liters of silage in here and bring them all the way to the top. Again, I don't want to have to mess with animals until basically the food and everything lasts them for 3 days. So I don't want to have to mess with animals until at least Monday, because in the situation, in the event that essentially we are successful, and that is the goal. That's going to be the goal, to be successful. Might as well, if you're going to do it, might as well do it. Try to do it right. So we're not even going to hopefully mess with animals or do anything else until we get to a rain delay type situation. And of course, that in the forecast is calling for Monday, the possibility for Monday. So yeah, in the real world, it's the 21st of January, and yesterday I spent most of the day, Saturday the 20th of January, crawling around on my hands and knees, putting baseboard trim in our living room, in our formal living room. I hate using the word formal living room, but that's what we call it. That's what my wife and I call it. There's really nothing much formal about us. We're just everyday people. But anyway, that's what we call it. And I spent the day crawling around on my hands and knees, putting up baseboard trim. We basically decided to push out the grouting project. We were going to grout the fireplace tile yesterday. But if you remember, we put the tile down the Saturday and Sunday before. And the tile, the thin set that is used to basically adhere the tile to either the surface, the wall, the floor, whatever it is, basically recommends 24 to 72 hours before you touch it, before you grout it. certainly before you walk on it. And so, again, this is a fireplace hearth, so there's really no foot traffic or anything like that on it. And so we could have grouted yesterday. We could grout today, but we're not going to. But my wife wasn't feeling so well on Friday, and I think I told you in a previous episode, one of the episodes that that I recorded last week, I told you that she had a small little bump on her eyelid that she had removed, and we got the news back from the the lab that tests it, and everything is fine, so there's no concerns about anything bad. But get those things done. And so got that back, and that was all good. But she was just a little bit tired because the eyes, the nose, the throat, all of that's kind of interconnected. And for those of you who have watched my series for any length of time, you know that she has suffered immensely with back-to-back sinus infections and everything. And so because I think her eyes got irritated just a little bit after the surgery, and of course she has to put this cream in her on the eyelid and also in the eye itself at night. It sort of I think it sort of has triggered her sinuses and everything to work a little harder. And so as a result of that, I think that she's just not been feeling so well. And so I told her, I basically said, well, look, here's the deal. We're not going to do this. We're not going to tile. I want you to be healthy and feeling top notch and everything. I don't want to take a chance of her getting sick and everything and developing another sinus infection or anything like that. So these two bells over here, if I can possibly get them, if I could get them at the same time, these are those two jumbo, or some of the two jumbo bells that we accidentally created. And these things are 9,000 liters a piece, and so I want to use these first, and I want to use these as basically feed that we're going to directly feed to the cows and to the sheep and stuff like that. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to try to get this other one that I threw over there. I just basically threw it over there. I used my superhuman strength to get this guy over there. To say I was a little frustrated might be a slight understatement, but yeah. So had a pretty good come on, lay down, there we go. Had a pretty good hay harvest off that field, and we're going to be doing just fine. I took a portion of that hay and didn't ted it, so about half the field I cut with hay, and about the other half of the field I essentially can we get out of there? Let's just do this. Half the field I tedded to create hay. The other half of the field I basically picked up with the forage wagon and brought it over for silage. So come on. I'm a Sunday morning driver, and I don't know when you're going to watch this episode, but I'm talking about in the real life it's Sunday. So anyway, it is amazing, and I don't know if any of you guys can relate as well, especially you older gentlemen, but I just can't. I used to, I could crawl around, and before I don't, well, maybe I've talked about this, but before I started in my IT career, I basically worked in maintenance, school systems, maintenance for the state of Texas. I worked in the school system, and we did all sorts of building maintenance. And I would have to say that as a child growing up, who had a father that still does, that is very handy, got all these skills and everything from his grandfather. And so it looks like that's pretty full, so let's start mixing some power food. Real handy and everything with just about everything that he does, everything that he touches, etc. And then obviously taking taking classes, taking classes in school, FFA, agricultural type classes, stuff like that. I learned a lot from working at the school, working in maintenance and stuff like that. And I think that that is a part of why I am as handy kind of as I am. And these doors are going to shut because let me pull forward and do this right. Unfortunately, the remote openers, see the remote openers on these doors. There's some good things and there's some bad things with this mod that allows you to open the doors with the mouse button, and that's just been demonstrated. Anyway, learning some of these skills and everything has certainly paid off in my adult life. Being able to do a lot of these home improvements and stuff myself saves a tremendous amount of money. I had a conversation just this week with one of our viewers, one of our longtime viewers, DC, and you know, he does a lot of his own home improvement projects and stuff like that as well. He and I sort of were talking about tiling and all that kind of stuff, and so you know, you save a whole lot of money by doing it yourself. I mean, it's probably now, of course, if you can't do it, if you don't have the time to do it, and there are some things that, you know, if I'm busy with work and travel and stuff like that, then obviously I don't have time to do some of these tasks. And so, you know, in that situation, yeah, you hire it done. I'm just driving like a madman today. So you have this stuff done, and that's okay. But you do save a lot of money, and I've got to say that, you know, I'm very thankful that I had the experiences that I've had, both as a child in school, being able to take those classes in school, and also, you know, having a father that has skills and everything, and all this kind of stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that there was a point in time that I literally could crawl around on my hands and knees pretty much all day, every day, and not have any problems at all. Not, you know, not be tired, not be sore. And I worked for probably 4, maybe 5 hours yesterday. I had to make a trip to the home improvement store to get a few pieces of equipment that I needed, and or a few pieces, or some material that I needed, is what I'm trying to say. And so so there is that time and everything away. But long story short, what I'm trying to say is that as I have become older and older individual, I'm just really finding it hard to, you know, I get tired, I get sore, I get, you know, I can't do things. And I'm not a drinker. I'm going to just quote the Hank Williams Jr. song about hangovers hurt more than they used to. I don't drink, so I don't have to worry about hangovers, but I will tell you that just, you know, little tasks and everything that I used to could do and not even think twice about it just really do hurt more now than they used to. And I'm sure that you guys can relate. And yeah, it's been kind of an odd conversation here, but anyway. All right, so we're putting in our final ingredient to our total mix rations, and of course that is our silage. So we use 1 bale of straw, 2 bales of hay, and 4,000 liters of silage. And if you put the silage in last, you don't have to worry about, you know, overfilling or underfilling or whatever, because as long as you're not as long as you're paying attention and making sure that you don't add a mod when you don't want the mod installed, and that was that large bell mod that I accidentally clicked to activate for this game save. I normally don't. And, I downloaded it when it first came out. I played around with it. I realized it wasn't going to work for me because I like to have the simple 4,000 liter bells and everything. So, but I didn't remove it from my mods folder. And when I started this game save up, I kind of went through and selected all the mods, and then went through and started deselecting the ones that I knew that I didn't want, but I missed that one. So it's just kind of a oversight on my part, but you know, stuff happens, and that's just kind of the way that it goes. So we are into early summer. I was just looking at our wool there issue at 35%. So we are basically in early summer, and I believe that our wool production capabilities are finished for this season. I'm going to leave that wool pallet there just a few more days, but basically I'm pretty sure that the cutoff is sometime in this time frame where we basically stop shearing our sheep. But I'll leave it there, and then once we probably get into late summer, I will most likely clear that wool pallet from the sheep area, and then we will sell the wool pallets that we have, because I think we have about 3 pallets of wool, maybe 4, and we'll sell those. So anyway, as I was saying just a few minutes ago, we do have a pretty much one hired helper that helps us around the farm most days. We have others that we can basically get in touch with that can certainly be available to help us. We have also reached out to our equipment store to find out if they have available for lease a combine. Should we, you know, have some should we have some difficulties, or if we feel like we didn't get as much done on the first day on Saturday, will we, you know, will we have access? Can we rent a combine? And so the answer to that is yes, they have a combine available for us. As a matter of fact, they pretty much have all the equipment that we would even need if we wanted to basically duplicate an operation. And I think even though the costs and everything that are associated with rental, I think it'll be worth it, because I believe that being able to plant those fields twice and get a soybean crop on there will basically pay for the rental and everything, and make it worthwhile. So we're just going to park our Massey and leave it right there for right now. That's good enough. I will off camera go ahead and mix up another batch of total mixed rations or power food and bring them up to 100%. And also on camera, I will also top up the water. So let's just kind of spend the remaining 2 or 3 minutes or so of this episode kind of getting a few things taken care of here. We need to move the big bud out of the way, because we need to get to our row crop, or our grain header, and so this guy is in the way right now. Of course, the big buds will be they'll be utilized certainly, because as soon as we essentially as soon as we get the grain off the fields, it's going to be and as soon as we get the straw collected off the fields, then essentially it's going to be, now who put this header in there that direction? That is rather odd, but that's okay. So let's get up in this guy and let's make sure that he's got plenty of fuel. Let's also just check his maintenance records, and maintenance is okay. And make sure that he'll crank up. Now we don't need the corn header right now. Won't need it for quite a while. But everything's looking good, sounding good, feeling good. And as that My Pillow guy says on TV, I knew it would. So that's all good. Let's just back up here a little bit further so we don't, when we swing around, we don't clip our chute there. I am excited for the harvest. This is basically an exciting time for us on the farm, of course, naturally. I think it is the sort of you know, it's a combination of all of our hard work and effort, our blood, our sweat, our tears, everything that we have put into preparing the fields, both opening them up for plowing and field fertilizations, all those kind of things. That's basically what all of this, that's what this time is all about. And we have essentially reached that point in the journey, and of course we will have a relatively long harvest season. Now I will do some things off camera, but as I have said before, that sometimes if I'm playing the game for long periods of time and not recording content out of that time, then obviously I can sort of get a bit behind on the video schedule and stuff like that. So we will probably cover quite a bit of our harvesting efforts, especially since it is so it's going to be so beneficial, especially with regards to the getting the soybean crop down and everything like that. So we'll just pull this over here, and it won't hurt for it to set out tonight. Now we won't move it up to our field and everything until tomorrow morning whenever we get ready to go. And yeah, so that's pretty good right there. We don't need to wash anything else right now. And then also one of the other things that we're going to obviously be doing is we will use our semi, and we also will use the auger wagon. So let's go ahead and put our big bud back where it needs to go. And I believe I can get it around that turn there. I must have at least once, because yeah, it was in there, right? So I must have done this once. Let's see if we can do it again. And go ahead and select, I'm going to go ahead and select soybeans, because I certainly would not want to make the mistake of getting in a bit of a hurry and being all excited and everything and end up planting an entire field in wheat or something else that is just going to die, because that is what will happen if we plant something other than soybeans. So we're going to put this back under the shed here, because I don't know if we'll basically be using the big bud on Saturday, or if that will be, come on, get out of there, or if that will be Sunday. But in any event, that is there, and all we'll need to do is top up the seeds, and we're good to go there. So let's take a look and see where our auger wagon is. I believe it's right down here by the semi, and it is. So we are going to need our big tractor to pull that, I believe. So the New Holland should do the trick on the auger wagon, I hope. If it doesn't, then we've got, we at least have that big T9 that we have never used. It might have to come out and do some duty. We'll see. That's still a poor backing job. I am just, I need to go back to bed, I think, folks. I think that's what I need. Either that or I need a stronger cup of coffee. One or the two. Let's see, where is that? There we go. We'll get it this time. All right, we'll go ahead and pull this out of the shed as well. And then we'll pull our semi and everything out tomorrow morning. Now, what I'm going to be doing is we're obviously going to be harvesting with course play, because that, my friends, is the only way that I'm going to be able to get this done in the time that we have available, and that is using course play. So we'll have a we'll have a course that will be set up with the New Holland, which will be emptying our combine, and then the New Holland pulling the big Bergman will have a course set up to empty into the semi and the tipper there, and then of course that will bring the grain down and store it into our grain silo, which is right down here. So all stuff that you've not seen on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, or at least not me playing this particular map. So hopefully everything will work out. I know that that grain spout there caused Farmer Klein a bit of grief. So we'll see how we can we'll see how it works. We might actually need to sell that tipper and get a belly dump trailer. So if we need to do that, then we'll certainly do that, because we need it to work with what we have here on the map. So ladies and gentlemen, really without further ado, I will let you get on with your busy days that you have. Again, when we come back for episode number 17, we will be in the harvest. The animals will be 100% up to spec as of today. Of course, they'll when the clock rolls over to tomorrow, their amounts of food and everything will be down, but we won't worry about that until we get these fields done. And so that is it. We have been working very hard up through these 16 episodes, getting ready for tomorrow. That's what it's all about. And then I have a feeling that once we get the soybeans planted in the ground, get them growing, then we'll start harvesting canola, and then just basically move our way around the fields and getting those taken care of. And hopefully it'll mean big money for us. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. I appreciate it. Please take good care of yourselves and each other. Don't forget, check out everyone down below. Those folks put out some wonderful content as well. And come back here again for episode 17 on Midtown USA, or an episode on Thornton Farm, or on the new map, Tazewell County. Take care. Bye-bye.